Top 10 Most Evil Men. Number 10. Attila the Hun. Attila was Khan of the Huns from 434 until his passing in 453. He was head of the Hunnic Empire, which extended from Germany to the Ural River and from the Danube River to the Baltic Sea. In a lot of Western Europe, it is recognized as the encapsulation of mercilessness and ravenousness. An ineffective mission in Persia was continued in 441 by an intrusion of the Eastern Roman Empire, the achievement of which encouraged Attila to attack the West. He went unhindered through Austria and Germany, over the Rhine into Gaul, pillaging and obliterating all in his way with a fierceness unrivaled in the record of brute attacks and convincing those he defeated to expand his strong armed force. Number 9. Maximilian Robespierre. Maximilian Robespierre was ahead of the French upset, and it was his contentions that made a progressive government murder the ruler without a preliminary. Also, Robespierre was one of the fundamental main impetuses behind the Rule of Dread, a multi-month post-progressive period in which mass executions were done. The terror ended the lives of between 18,500 to 40,000 individuals, with 1,900 being killed in the most recent month. Among individuals who were censured by the progressive courts, around 8% were blue bloods, 6% pastorate, 14% working class, and 70% were laborers or laborers blamed for accumulating, avoiding the draft, renunciation, insubordination, and other implied wrongdoings. In a demonstration of circumstantial equity, Robespierre was guillotined without a preliminary in 1794. Number 8. Rahalah Himani. Ayatollah Khomeini was the strict head of Iran from 1979 to 1989. In that time he executed Sharia law, Islamic strict law, with the Islamic clothing regulation implemented for the Two People by Islamic Revolutionary Guards and other Islamic gatherings. Resistance to the strict standard of the pastorate or Islam, when all is said and done, was regularly met with cruel disciplines. Number 7. Idi Amin Dada. Idi Amin was a military official and leader of Uganda. He took power in a military overthrow in January 1971, dismissing Milton Obote. His standard was described by denials of basic freedoms, political suppression, ethnic abuse, extra-legal killings, and the removal of Indians from Uganda. Number 6. Leopold II of Belgium. Leopold II was King of Belgium from 1865 to 1909. With monetary help from the public authority, Leopold made the Congo Free State. A private task embraced to separate elastic and ivory in the Congo district of Focal Africa, which depended on constrained work and brought about the passings of around 3 million Congolese. The system of the Congo Free State got one of the more scandalous worldwide outrages of the turn of the century. The region of land exclusive by the king was a zone multiple times bigger than Belgium, which he was allowed to run as an individual space through his private armed force, the Force Publique. Leopold's elastic finders tormented, mutilated and butchered until, when the new century rolled over, the inner voice of the Western world constrained Brussels to call a stop. Number 5. Pol Pot. Pol Pot was the head of the Khmer Rouge and the Prime Minister of Cambodia from 1976 to 1979, having been true pioneer since mid-1975. During his time in force, Pol Pot forced an extraordinary rendition of agrarian socialism, where all city occupants were moved to the field to work in aggregate homesteads and constrained work ventures. The joint impact of slave work, lack of healthy sustenance, helpless clinical consideration and executions is assessed to have slaughtered around 2 million Cambodians, roughly 33% of the populace. Number 4. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad III of Romania, otherwise called Vlad the Impaler, was Prince of Wallachia multiple times, somewhere in the range of 1448 and 1476. Vlad is most popular for the legends of the extremely brutal disciplines he forced during his rule and for filling in as the essential motivation for the vampire primary character in Bram Stoker's famous Dracula tale. In Romania he is seen by numerous individuals as a sovereign with a profound feeling of equity. Number 3. Ivan IV of Russia. Ivan IV of Russia, likewise known as Ivan the Terrible, was the Grand Duke of Muscovy from 1533 to 1547 and was the principal leader of Russia to expect the title of Tsar. In 1570, Ivan was under the conviction that the world class of the city of Novgorod wanted to abscond to Poland, and drove a military to stop them on January 2. Ivan's fighters assembled dividers around the border of the city to forestall the individuals of the city getting away. Somewhere in the range of 500 and 1,000 individuals were assembled each day by the soldiers, at that point tormented and killed before Ivan and his child. In 1581, Ivan beat his pregnant girl-in-law for wearing indecent garments, causing an unsuccessful labor. His child, likewise named Ivan, after learning of this, occupied with a warmed contention with his dad, which brought about Ivan striking his child in the head with his sharp staff, causing his child's unplanned demise. Number 2. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was selected Chancellor of Germany in 1933, turning out to be Führer in 1934 until his self-destruction in 1945. Before the Second Over-Universal War, Hitler's strategies of regional success and racial enslavement had carried passing and pulverization to a huge number of individuals. Remembering the massacre of approximately 6 million Jews for what is currently known as the Holocaust. On April 30, 1945, after extraordinary road-to-road battle, when Soviet soldiers were spotted inside a square or two of the Reich Chancellery, Hitler ended it all, shooting himself while at the same time gnawing into a cyanide container. Number 1. Joseph Stalin. Stalin was General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union's Central Committee from 1922 until his passing in 1953. Under Stalin's authority, the Ukraine experienced a starvation, Holodomor, so extraordinary it is considered by numerous individuals to be a demonstration of massacre with respect to Stalin's administration. Evaluations of the quantity of passings range from 2.5 million to 10 million. The starvation was brought about by direct political and regulatory choices.